Hey everybody. So really weird. My recording software stopped as I was recording. I had actually recorded an additional 45 minutes worth of me talking about stuff on Veve and what I was buying. I even bought some stuff and I found out that none of it was recorded. So this is why there's now a part 2. I'm not sure what happened. I will try and look into OBS at some point in the very near future because that was a bit annoying. I think the last thing we were talking about was Marvel Spotlight number 5. Or at least I looked at the last video. That was the last thing we were talking about. And going over the prices and like the popularity of Ghost Rider. And I can't remember off the top of my head everything that I was talking about, but basically everyone's expecting him to have a movie relatively soon. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe because he was so popular before. The price for this comic on Veve relative to the price of the comic in like actual real world, it's kind of insane because this comic goes for thousands and thousands of dollars. And I think a lot of people, once again, the common theme is that a lot of people who are on Veve, I think, are relatively new to the collecting world, to the whatever kind of world that there is when it comes to comic books. And a lot of people simply don't know that the popularity of these comics are actually quite high and how much people are actually willing to spend on these. It's such a shame. At least in my opinion, it was like a really good video. There were so many things I was talking about, so many facts and information and things about like history of these comics books that I was talking about. And now it's essentially all lost and gone forever into the ether. Star Wars, as you know, is a very popular franchise. As far as like Star Wars comic number 1, this one, of course, is... How do I say it? Star Wars number 1, the comic, is not the most expensive comic book in the world. You can fetch it for a pretty penny, and a lot of times you can also even find it for like $100, maybe $150 on a rare day. But the franchise itself is actually quite large, and I've questioned sometimes the fact that I do not have an enormous amount of these as far as like the digital versions, because I wonder in the future, how far they can go, i.e., we've seen before that there were a number of comics, even during the last bull run, that in the real physical world, the comic may only be worth around $50, $60, $70, $80, but some of the commons were going for like a couple of hundred. I'm not sure if that's because of the like generalized market hype that we were in, or if, that's the real digital value. But there's only 258 left on here. So I wonder when there's, 3 left on the app, how high the commons will also be. One of my main things when it comes to Veve as well is like I look far into the distant future. Not a Star Wars reference, but I mean like a literal... Years ago, when people were collecting Pokemon cards, no one thought of the future value of Charizard. A lot of people pick up comics now and don't think of the potential future value of what an issue might be 20 years down the line as well. So it's always this really weird, like, if NFTs and stuff like that end up making it or do succeed, how much these things will be worth. Like, these are all the actual things from Marvel Comics. Like, these aren't like random things that Veve is posting. So, the real, genuine premium articles that we're buying, like, what's the limit? How high can these things go in the future? Avengers number 4, first appearance of Captain America. I've bought a bunch of these before. The price here is also extremely low. It's so crazy. I don't know if I told you the significance of this. If I did or did not, it doesn't. Okay. The point is, these comics are significant because these were the reintroduction of comic characters who were very popular in the 30s and 40s, who they decided to kind of drag back into the Marvel comic book space. You can even see in the corner here, you have Submariner. For whatever reason, and common theme, it's so weird. Like, I don't know what I was talking about before. I was like really on a roll. I was like really, really on a roll. And then for some reason, it kind of all completely fell apart. So yes, this is also a major issue as well. I know a lot of people are waiting for Captain America number 1 to actually hit the website. But if you want something that is just as significant and also very sought after as well, because not a lot of people, the first appearance of Captain America and Captain America number 1 is like $300,000, $400,000. So unless you have that to shell out, I think a lot of people would be happier with this version of the comic as well. First appearance of Hawkeye, not my favorite character. I love the idea of archery, but not something I would really pick up. Tales of Suspense number 77. I picked up like 150 of these. I told you all that before. Marvel's currently trying to do like different iterations of different characters. They are trying to make and have made multiple different Captain Americas. Like they did a comic book series, I hope I didn't say this in the other video, where they were basically like traveling through the United States in Captain America. This guy found a bunch of other Captain Americas, people who were dressing like them, who had the same spirit as he did, yada, yada, yada. But this is the first appearance of Peggy Carter, Captain America's girlfriend, who they are currently trying to make into like a major movie star kind of person. She was also very popular on Disney Plus's, it's called What If? And there's an episode where instead of, it's not even a spoiler, it's been out for like 2 or 3 years, where instead of Captain America getting the serum, she gets the serum and she kind of becomes the Captain America. So it's worth watching. Nothing too incredible, but you never know. Once again, like these characters might pick up. It's happened a lot of times. I mentioned that before. When I was a kid, Iron Man wasn't a popular character. He was not. You used to go, like, I used to be able to go into the comic book store and find, I think it's Tales of Suspense number 39, his first appearance. You could find it for like $55, $60. Like it was nothing. Like no one cared about Iron Man. And then through clever marketing and Robert Downey Jr., look at what the entire franchise became. So you never really know. Down the line, they may cast a character or have something significant with Peggy Carter. She becomes, I think her name is Captain Carter. Almost said Miss Britain because she has an accent. I think it's Captain Carter. You never know where that goes from there. This is the Days of Futures Past. It was already in the movies. I don't think that they're going to be making another movie of the same exact topic. So this is a pass. West Coast Adventures number 7, Gigantic Past. Fantastic Four number 1. One of the largest comic books probably on the planet. They were never my particular favorite comic book team, but it's also worth a lot of money. I think the Veve price is roughly where it currently should be. Was it 30, 40? 20? Okay, 30. Roughly around 30. I think 30, 40 seems to be relatively fair. I think they were going for a couple hundred before as we had the last bull run. And I think, so there's only 29 of this, of the uncommon one left. It's going for 29 right now. You do the scroll, and some of the last one's being sold for $53,800. And I cannot say for certain if we're ever going to hit those prices, but if it's anything, so here's a really weird one. When you look at the actual prices of Bitcoin and in the cryptocurrency market, whenever there is a bear market and prices collapse, we tend to do a 10x or 20x from the previous all-time high. I think the previous all-time high I think it was $300 or $400. I wonder if the commons will eventually be going for thousands of dollars. This had an edition size of 60,000. There's 215 left. If we get enough hype and momentum, there's going to be 4 left on the website. So how high is the price then? Like, how big can all these things become? Spider-Man number 86, pass. Marvel Zombies, pass. Pass. You already know this one? I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video, there's going to be another common theme in this one. Oh, no, it's right here. Okay, cool. Yeah. I make sure that every beginning of the month, I always buy some of these and some Marvel Comics number 1. Nova number 8, pass. This one, also incredibly gigantic comic, but on here, for some reason, the price is low as I don't know what. $4.25. In the other video, I bought a bunch of these because, in my opinion, it's super undervalued. This is also a very big comic in the physical world, and the comics price is here at $3. It doesn't make any kind of sense. I'm going to get another one just because the prices don't match up to the actual reality. It said item no longer available. Okay. I think it's because maybe I had the page sitting here for too long. Where was I? I don't remember. Also, pass. A lot of times, I prefer to have the gigantic first appearance of a character as opposed to the secondary one. So I'd rather have first appearance of Green Goblin as opposed to the first appearance of the Red Goblin, which is the one right here. First appearance of the Black Widow, Tales of Suspense number 52. a gigantic comic. It's worth basically nothing on Veve, $6. I have a whole bunch of them as well. Usually when I try and do like my sweeps, a lot of times I look for comics that are roughly under $4 simply because I always feel like that's kind of like the best price to be able to jump into like a major key comic. A lot of the stuff on here, these are not keys, so they're popular and or you may have seen them before, but like 95% of the things on Veve are probably never going to actually end up going anywhere, and that's not me being mean. That's just simply a fact. Fantastic Four number 5, the first appearance of Doctor Doom. I definitely remember I should not have spoken about this one in part 1. This comic's gigantic. This is one of the very few comics on Veve that actually looks similar to where it should be price-wise. These are currently going for $21 and then $23, $23, $24, $24, $24. Scroll down a bit, you're in the 50s, 70s, 80s, 100s, and then you get to people that are selling them for $9 million. Bit insane, but sure. So, whereas a lot of other key comics, you are seeing them or being sold for like 3 gems. Some of them are being sold for like 2 gems, which is kind of insane. This one makes a little bit of sense as far as like price-wise. Like I could totally see the common version of this doing a 10 or 20x, going for $200, going for $400 because it's so significant in the actual real world. I'll show you this one as well. Fantastic Four right here. Yeah, these go for thousands and thousands of dollars. This is a 4.0 grade, 8,200, 4,900. They said a 1.8 grade. In the other video, I bought a couple of these as well just because prices are low. I think the uncommon is also lower than that as well. Yeah. So weird. It's so annoying. Like, you have no idea. I made an hour. It was like an hour and 10-minute video, and I was like, cool. Like, people keep asking me all the time, like, what do I think about this? Why am I buying that? Why am I not getting this? What's the point of me having that? Why have I not mentioned this? I got everything out in the video, and then I looked down. For those of you who don't use OBS, the little icon wasn't red. Like, it wasn't showing that I was recording, and I was like, oh boy. Journey into Mystery 85, first appearance of Loki. It's significant, but it's also something you can... Loki is a major character. Why did I do that? I hurt myself. Loki is a major character, but he's not as major as other things on the platform that you could acquire for a lower price. That was very well said. West Coast Avengers, pass. We talked about this one as well. I don't know if I ever talked about Silver Surfer Black. Let me see if I see it anywhere up here. Nope. Good job. Where is it? There we go. Silver Surfer Black. Pass. Simply because it is brand new. There's nothing fantastic or major about it. It's supposed to have a very amazing storyline that people love. People think it's one of the best Silver Surfer stories ever created. But nope. It does nothing for my future wallet simply because there's so many other like gigantic things on the website. Like, I'd rather get Fantastic Four number 1 or Fantastic Four number 5, or even right next to it, the first appearance of, I think this is the first appearance of Shuri, or is it Shuri as Black Panther? First appearance of Shuri. For those of you who did not see the new Black Panther movie, I shan't say a thing, but this is also a very popular comic in the real world. I don't know how many I have of this, 30, 40, something like that. I bought a whole bunch of them at some point. They were like $2 on here, and I was like, listen, you can't tell me. Like, they were literally just $2. A lot of times people sell them for like $1.74. I don't know how people come up with their prices for a lot of these things, but I bought a whole bunch of them as well. I like Shuri. I like the idea of the character. I like where they're taking her. And, you know, in the movie, you'll see some stuff. C-3PO, this is a pass simply because Star Wars number 1 exists. I'd rather have Star Wars number 1 as opposed to the Star Wars special. Amazing Spider-Man number 50, first appearance of Kingpin. Also a pass. Deadpool number 1. I'd rather have his first appearance, which is also like $4 or $5 on Veve as well. So, you know. Fallen Sun, pass. King Size Annual, pass. You already know Ultimate Fallout 4. I don't have to go into that. I think I also did somewhere up there as well. You don't need to rehear about it. I don't think I went over Captain America number 117. I don't think it was anywhere up here. Nope. Captain America 117 is the first appearance of the Falcon. We went over this before. in a couple of other videos. He also is the current iteration of Captain America in the comic books. At some point, he stopped being Captain America. He's now re-Captain America. There were a whole bunch of storylines, I think a year or two ago, where a lot of people, like I said, were found to be the new Captain Americas as well. So there are now multiple of them. The idea being Marvel's just trying to find stuff that sticks, and a lot of things actually do stick. So a lot of times when people look at comic books or even stuff on Veve, you'll notice that, for instance, this is Captain America number 117. There's a reason why they didn't give us 116, 115, 114, 113, 112, 111, blah, 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 and continuing all in that actual order. Because Marvel creates new characters all the time. It's just a matter of like which one actually sticks and which one actually becomes popular, because a lot of them do not become popular. But the Falcon stuck. The Falcon was his new Bucky. He became Captain America. People bought a whole bunch of those comics as well. He's Captain America again. He has a whole new series, and people are buying them. I own a lot of these. I own, I think, every single rarity, because at some point they were all super cheap. I think the rares were like $5 or $6. The ultra rares, I think, were $11. What are they now? $39. There's 16 of them left, so it does make a lot of sense. I also have, I think, a secret rare, maybe 2 secret rares for this one. And these are $5 on Veve. I don't know. He is Captain America, so the idea of not being able to buy the first appearance of Captain America is a little weird to me. Like, if I didn't buy them at this price, but that's also the way that I look at things. First appearance of Monica Rambeau can also be passed. I don't think I went over Venom number 3, first appearance of Null. I don't think we got there yet. Nope. So, where is it? Venom number 3 is the first appearance of Null. He is the god symbiote. He's this guy sitting right here. He's incredibly popular. He's incredibly powerful. A lot of people like him. You may have noticed. How do I say this? And I said it perfectly in the other video. There was a recent Marvel movie that came out, and there were a couple of characters who were fighting, and on the ground next to them there was a gigantic sword, and that gigantic sword actually belongs to him. He has a very powerful sword. It's called, I think, Necro, the Dark Blade, or the Black Blade, or something like that. I forgot exactly what it's called. And I was trying to figure out why in that recent movie he did not make an appearance. It's basically because Sony owns the rights to all the symbiotes, and they cannot and are not being put into Marvel movies because Sony owns the rights to them. So you might have seen, I'm trying to like remain spoiler free as much as possible, but I assume if you're here listening to me talking about comics, especially these comics, you must have seen the videos, the movies that came out like 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. Long story short, at the end of one of the Marvel movies, you notice that basically, you know, like, and the after credits, not even a spoiler, Venom is there. So there's some type of working thing that's going on between Marvel and Sony where it appears like symbiotes might begin to appear. This is also one of my favorite comic book covers in the entire world. $3.50. I think in the real world, it maybe just goes for like $150, maybe $200, maybe $300 or $400 if it's like a high grade. But I think it's awesome. It's something else, another storyline tying into Miles Morales. A lot of times in the future, those end up picking up in price as well because people, you know, like the old storylines and they end up tying in and what have you. So the old comics also rise. But this is also like the first appearance of Null, who is the creator of all the symbiotes. So, you know, that's pretty big. Old Man Wolverine or Old Man Logan. The movie was great. The comic book has kind of lost a lot of its value, so it's a skip as far as like I don't care what price it's being sold for on here. I can't really and won't be able to flip it for an enormous amount sometime in the future. I think we went over this one as well. Don't remember. No? Oh yeah, we did. Okay. First Yelena Belova, yeah. Uncanny. Almost said Uncanny Inhumans. Inhumans number 5. These are all skips. These are kind of all skips. This one was significant before. A couple of years ago, people were hyping it up. First appearance of Morbius. The movie. I mean, if you liked Morbius, more power to you. I like a lot of movies that no one I know likes. And I mean like really, like I think they're incredible, but People think they're garbage, so what have you. The price of this also dropped after the movie came out. What have you. Not really too surprising. Captain Marvel number 14. Let's see if it already passed it or as well. I don't think I think I remember talking about this in the second half of the video that cut off. Wait for it. Nope. Okay. Captain Marvel number 14. I own a lot of these as well. I'm a stickler for trying to buy a lot of the comics of the new generation, the new characters that are popping up. Kamala Khan is the new Miss Marvel, if you will. But there's also a bunch of other characters that also are popping up as well. How do I say it? I'm buying it simply because of the obvious speculation. She's a very popular character in the real world. I think this comic is going for maybe 100 or 200 in the like the physical form. Captain Marvel 14. I'm pretty sure I already looked it up before.